Number 3.
Stanford.
No, I had Purdue.
Okay.
And the only reason
2.
Purdue was at number
That's my
3,
2.
Purdue was number 3 because they have Big Ten money. And I don't think they hate football. I think they actually probably can put some money together and probably care a little bit.
They care way more about basketball.
But they care way more about basketball. And Purdue does have a football tradition if you go back in the 60s and 70s. There is some tradition.
But it's football tradition in the same vein as like Army and Cal.
Yeah, but let me just say this. If Purdue ever decided like Indiana they wanted to be good at football, they could be good at football. Because they're not Northwestern and they're not Rutgers.
You're right.
And they're not Northwestern. They have pocketed alumni. That's an engineering school. They have a big alumni. I'm convinced that if Purdue actually cared, and this is a school Drew Brees went to. There's some NFL people, that went to the. So I put them on the list just because they have been historically bad and will continue to be. But I'm not convinced that if you put if you bring a Kurt Cinetti kind of person there and they find some money, they could be good. But they're just bad right now.
I think that's just contingent on you would need a generational coach or a generational AD to unlock that.
I think so.
And
absolutely.
And just a good AD and a good coach will never get there.
And you did it in Indiana because it finally happened. So.
Yeah.
All right. So you had Stanford. I didn't have Stanford there. So
So Stanford, I had at 3. I think there's a couple of reasons. One, academically, they, I guess, still aren't really playing ball with what needs to happen from an academic standpoint to get transfers in or to get their players into their own grad programs. This is a school administration in California that has basically decided. And from a school standpoint, I actually understand what they're saying because Stanford's a bit like probably one of the only Power 5 programs that would be richer if they didn't have a football program. They have more money than anybody else in the Power 5 except Texas. Their endowment is gigantic. So they absolutely do not need football in any sense of the word, right? And from that standpoint, they've chosen that they're not going to fudge the academics to get good football players in the transfer portal and to keep their old players in grad school. And that's a choice. Again, this is another choice-based scenario where the administration at Stanford, the non-athletics administration, has chosen, hey, we're just going to stick to academics. And that really limits their ability there. They've hired Andrew Luck as a GM. I'm curious to see what he can do there. But until they can kind of change that attitude on campus, they're very limited in the NIL era. I would think that they would be able to raise money being in Silicon Valley, being in that area. But it's kind of do the Silicon Valley people care about football?
Do they really care?
Because
I don't know if they're different than Purdue because I think Purdue people, there's probably somebody that cares.
Engineers in Indiana probably care more about football than
venture capitalists
in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. So who did you have at 2 then?
Purdue.